Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. I hope you like this video and subscribe. And we're going to talk about some rumors here. This is from fan side. Some are actually kind of amusing, some of the things that are being talked about. But we're in that situation. We're in the weird time of baseball, the dog days, where some teams are going up, most teams going down. Here's from fan-sided. Headline, Gerrit Cole trade farce, Cardinals top target, and Angels last gasp. Well, Angels make historic call-up and last-ditch effort for a playoff push. Boy, did they ever. The LA Angels planted their flag for one last push for the playoffs at the MLB trade deadline by not only electing to keep Shohei Ohtani, but aggressively try to upgrade the roster, most notably landing Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez from the White Sox. Unfortunately, things haven't worked in their favor. Since the All-Star break, the Angels are 15-16 and have won only 4 of their last 10. With other wildcard contenders in the AL surging, the Halos have now fallen 7 games out of that race, are in a dismal 12.5 games back in the AL West. Now it's time for a last gasp for their playoff lives. On Friday, the Angels called up first baseman Nolan Chanel to the big league club from the Double-A Rocket City Trash Pandas. What's notable about that, though, and might give a whiff of desperation, is that Chanel was drafted just under 6 weeks ago out of Florida Atlantic. This is an unusual situation. It is a sign of desperation, my view, by the Angels. They're so desperate not only to make postseason, but also hope that they can keep Ohtani. As ESPN Jeff Passan noted, Chanel has played only 21 games in the minors since being drafted, but an on-base rate over 500 is impressive and mimics what he did for the FAU in college as well, posting an OPS just under a hair, an OPS just a hair under 1,500 for the Owls. Even still, this is a near unprecedented call for a recent draftee, but shows how direly the Angels are trying to make it to the playoffs and, by proxy, give the franchise any chance of holding on to Shohei Ohtani this offseason. Boy, oh boy. And I would mention, Ohtani has not played well, believe it or not, over the last 2-3 weeks. Since the trade deadline, he has not pitched well, and he's just overall, his game is sort of sagged. I think the dog days have caught up to him. He's not a robot. The guy, he plays every game, and he pitches once a week. I mean, it's going to drag you. And every player goes through slumps, and he's gone through a slump at the worst possible moment for the Angels. Headline, absurd Gerrit Cole trade proposal. It's the last thing that the Yankees need. Now, the Yankees lost on Saturday, 8-1 to the Red Sox. They've lost 7 in a row and are 3 games under 500. Sometimes when it comes to local radio shows, guys just start talking, or you don't say. That's how you end up with an idea like the New York Yankees trading Gerrit Cole. Evan Roberts of WFAN in New York recently proposed the Yankees should trade the current AL Cy Young leader this offseason. His reason was that New York could replenish its farm system with a king's ransom of prospects from any potential buyer. Further, he added that all Yankees are doing right now with Gerrit Cole is wasting him. I agree. And he pitched poorly today, and I think the team struggles are starting to drag him down. There's so many times, and they blew a game, his last start on Sunday. They blew a 5-run lead to the Marlins and lost a 4-run lead in the 9th inning and gave up 5 runs and lost on a walk-off. As noted by Thomas Carinati of Yankees Go Yard, Roberts is a Mets fan. An organization that just traded away Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer at the deadline, so perhaps that's coloring is taken away. But Carinati also pointed out that Cole has a no-trade clause and an opt-out clause after next season, both of which could diminish his trade value. More importantly than any of that, though, the Yankees have been severely mismanaged by GM Brian Cashman and the like from the front office. The team was built haphazardly with top-heavy stars and inadequate filling at the margins. Taking away one of those stars is not the answer, especially if the trade would yield the haul of prospects that a pitcher of Cole's caliber should. In reality, this is just noise into the void. But it deserves to be pointed out how truly terrible of an idea that this is for the Yankees. I don't think it's that terrible an idea. Yes, they could lose him at some point in the near future, but the hope is that he changes, that changes will come and turn things around so they aren't wasting him, to use Robert's words. I don't think it's the worst idea, because you can get a hell of a lot more back for a pitcher of his caliber and his high, being that high on the totem poles. I lose my voice. You can get a lot more for him than, say, a first baseman, who's one of the best players in the game. And finally in this video, Aaron Nola named top Cardinals target for 2024. Perhaps the worst kept secret in baseball, largely thanks to John Mozeliak, making it public on several occasions that the Cardinals have torn down their roster in the midst of a disappointing 23 season, but plan to rebuild and retool a contender for the 24 campaign. And that all starts with building out the pitching staff. Logan Gilbert has been often mentioned as a trade target for the Cardinals the offseason, and that could still be the case. But when it comes to free agency, one of the analysts covering the team believes he's uncovered what should be the top target of St. Louis, Philadelphia Phillies right-hander Aaron Nola. Ben Frederickson of St. Louis Post-Dispatch is banging the drum for the Cardinals to be in heavy pursuit of him, noting that as Mozeliak's refrain is they need to add 3 pitchers. Nola fits the bill. And though he knows it'll be costly, he rightly serves as the necessary evil of that place that St. Louis is currently in. But wouldn't he be expensive? Of course. Great pitching costs more every single season. Prices for baseball's most vital need do not drop. The Cardinals will be back in Sellers camp a season from now. They don't fill the pitching town hole that has opened up beneath them. Figuring out what has derailed pitching development is another task entirely. Both are critical to this team's future success. But young arms, even with suddenly fixed instruction, are not helping Nola and Arenado, and the Cardinals contend in 2024. Nola could. Nola has indeed been in the midst of a down year by the 30-year-old standards, with a 4.58 ERA, though he does have a 1.15 WHIP. But given that he's been a Cy Young candidate more often than not over the past 6 seasons, this feels like a blip on the radar, given his overall consistency, especially with a sub-4 ERA, indicating he's been unlucky this season. Make no mistake, Nola's going to be one of the more coveted free agent pitching options this winter, but the Cardinals have no choice but to play that game. And perhaps Frederickson is right in that the longtime Philly is exactly what the Redbirds need as a cornerstone of a rebuild rotation. I would mention about Nola, he pitches a lot of innings. So if some team is interested in him, you'll get a workhorse. And even though he's pitching poorly this year, he's still putting in a lot of innings. So keep that in mind. The New York Mets will be asking about him. Perhaps the Yankees, the Cubs are trying to take that next step. The Giants, that's for damn sure. The Dodgers, the Mariners, the Astros, the Rangers, a whole bunch of teams are going to be asking about him. So he's going to have a big market. For a guy that throws a lot of innings, that's gold in this market. It's gold in the idea that pitchers don't go a lot of innings. He throws a lot of innings. So you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.